Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ms. Omita Jagannath, Customer Service Officer from the Business Development and Communication Department at the National Training Agency. Thank you so much for joining us today this fantastic Friday 2021. And today we will be talking a bit about the creative industry, Carnival, and COVID-19. I'm very, very pleased to introduce our two guests today. Let's start with saying hello to Miss Nariba Robinson of Zéle Events. Hi, Nariba.
Hi. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. And we also have with us Mical Teja, renowned producer, writer, and performing artist. Welcome, Mical.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. And to our stakeholders, we are so happy that you were able to join us this morning. We invite you to please place your questions in the chat, our live chat. We'll have a little discussion this morning, and then we'll get straight into your questions as we discuss about Carnival and COVID-19, how we're dealing with this in the new normal. Let's get right into it then. I know many people want to find out about what's going on with Carnival and COVID-19. And I had the pleasure of speaking to both Nariba and Mical previously while we were planning this session. And, I was trying to gauge what the feeling was about this particular season. But before we even do that, Nariba, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became the founder of Zéle Events.
So I have always had a passion for events. Since secondary school days, I was always the one hosting all the Carnival, Christmas-related events. So as I progressed into my professional career, I dabbled in journalism, public relations, communications, and advertising as well. And I had a birthday party a few years back, and performances, DJs, like the full works. And everybody, you need to do this professionally. Like, we need more of this, we need more of this. And from that birthday party, but 6-7 months later, we decided to create Zéle Events. So Zéle Events has been in existence for 6 years. Yes, 6 years. We do social events. Usually would have a year-long calendar with events from Carnival to Easter to summer, straight into Christmas, and then back to Carnival again. But with COVID-19, it is what it is now.
I feel your pain. Yeah. I feel your pain. Mical, I know you're feeling her pain too. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved in performing, writing, and producing?
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Actually, I started off as a songwriter, so like at the tender age of 15, still attending, MOCA, Trinity MOCA, Leicester Garcia, that basically started it. And throughout the years, writing for the artists, at the back of my mind, I was just like, what I'm writing that. I'm just here to learn and understand that I could now transition myself. And throughout the years, just putting developed as a songwriter, and over the past 4 years, I would say 4 to 3 years, I've kind of been stepping up more as an artist. And I think last year Carnival would have been a year where a lot of people were able to recognize, oh, here's this Mical Teja guy. I was like, with this song, murder, going forward. That's the shortest way I could put
it. Don't worry. I think we've captured the gist of what you've said. And I can tell from talking to both you and Nariba, you all are very passionate about this particular industry.
Very
yeah?
good.
Yes.
So
Yes.
on that note, how has this season of what would have been Carnival, how are you feeling right now for Carnival 2021? Well, I mean, it's in our minds, we're still feeling like it's Carnival 2021 in theory. We understand we don't have the Monday and Tuesday, but I know we agreed today we would still say it's Fantastic Friday. Mical, are you on board with that feeling? Tell me, what are you all feeling today? Tell me, Nariba.
So for me, it's been like bittersweet because I say thanks to artists like Mical and the other artists who worked hard and put out music, to the artists who would have had live concerts and virtual concerts. So that is the sweet part. We still have that little bit of carnival to hold on to, but the part is not being able to interact with each other how we would usually interact, because that is a big part of our carnival. Seeing friends you would have seen in Soka and Moka, in Fatima Fest, like, you know, you just miss that energy that is carnival. But carnival is within us, so I guess with or without the mask, we'll still be who we are as a people and loving the carnival.
I totally agree about the part about carnival being within us, you know, and I agree that it's more than just a social thing. It's about connecting with our friends and the energy and seeing the same people you see every year at all those fets. Mical, what about you? How is carnival impacting how you feel this year?
I think it's a bit sweet situation.
Bittersweet as well.
You know, someone I went so last night we had a pre-recorded show, and then I actually went to do a live. And while on live, when I finished came off of the live, one of the guys is like, "Yo, bro, you really bring the energy, boy." And I like couldn't tell. I was like, "There's no crowd in front of me." Like, you know, and just he was like telling me, you know, how you feeling. I said, "Bro, honestly, I'm just glad to come up do something." I think that's how many of us in the creative
Industry.
feel.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can totally get that, and I can totally appreciate that.
You know, but I'm as of, you know, not being to physically have a concert and, you know, just fun and interact with people. But yes, like I said, there's still some, you know, essence of it still there, which it's bittersweet.
That's the vibe, the energy, the bittersweetness. I'm seeing a theme going through here. And trust me, as somebody who loves my soca as well, I totally understand and appreciate all the efforts from everyone in this industry. I mean, I was telling Nariba that over the last week or so, as she rightly said, Carnival is in us. And I've been hearing all the DJs on the radio and all of the announcers, and they're trying to keep us all inspired. So yes, thank you to all of you for being, you know, a part of keeping our positivity of our energy, our culture, because I know we love to feed off the energy of our audience. And that you definitely mentioned that's missing. But we need you guys, you know, we need you guys. So so let's see. Let's talk about the carnival part. Now, carnival is just one part of what we're dealing with. COVID-19 pandemic started since last year.
Yeah.
Mical, I'll ask you first. What have the effects of this COVID-19 pandemic been on you as a writer, producer, artist? What has happened because of the pandemic?
Um, so that's a bit of a twofold, right? And I'll on how it has affected, right? Definitely lockdown, because, you know, shows have slowed down. Um, right here in Trinidad, and then we also very difficult for us to leave the country and come home. So I can't even take the chance to say, you know what, things in you know, there are super shows going on in Florida, Atlanta. I can't leave to come back, so I still again loss of income. Um, and also regards to just people consuming music now, I think that in itself also it has like it's not like it's on a roller coaster. So there'll be a week where people are consuming the music, there'll be like 2 3 weeks of it declines. There's definitely like weird fluctuation of income with the artist concerned. And of course, right here in I've cut me uh, as a PRO, royalty collection company, right? And live show there aren't any live, so how are they now with collect? And of course, more a lot of businesses are closed. I can see that they would usually cut, they no longer pay. So it's like where
Yeah.
space where exactly what's going on, but definitely a loss of all.
Loss of income all around. I hear you. I hear you. Loss of income, the inability to go do the shows abroad, and even locally having to pay the fees to the copywriter organization of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, yes, it has indeed impacted across the industry. What about with your aspect, Nariba? How has it impacted you, the COVID-19 pandemic itself?
So everyone would know by now that the last time that we were even able to have events would have been last year, end of February, early March. And when I say events where you don't have that level of restriction, because any promoter will tell you that it will cost you hundreds of thousands into the millions to host an event. Hosting events is not cheap in any way, shape, or form. Since obviously, promoters try to rip off people or whatever. Being a promoter is a risk because you're not sure you're going to get a return on your investment. So by us not being able to have events since last year, February into March, again, just as Mical said, the loss of income and the loss of revenue within the industry, within, just us being able to survive because during events it's some persons like bread and butter, that's all they do. I am still thankful to have a regular 9 to 5 job, but this is all they live because what we would do is we'd have a year long of events. So we'd know every 2 months, every 3 months, we're going to have events. But by the industry being shut down for so long, I know persons, DJs, promoters, who have now gone back into the regular world of work because they have a steady income coming in every month or every couple of months. So it has been a strain financially. What I can say is though some promoters have taken the mantle to try to do live events and pre-recorded events. Now for me, Zéle personally, we chose not to take the route of virtual events because to also have a virtual carnival event, it costs much. It costs a lot because you have to pay for sound, for light, you have to pay DJ, you have to pay the artist to come and perform. So there is still a cost to live events. So for us, the pandemic really has hit us financially really, really hard. Even our suppliers, I know suppliers who would have started to sell their equipment because they just not getting any work. And as Bungie Gallen rightfully said, this industry is like an ecosystem. It's not just the promoter.
I heard it.
Printing jerseys, it's the person who's selling food. It's the person who's printing tickets. Like events is a whole entire ecosystem. And by the pandemic hitting us this hard, like from a income and economic standpoint, pressure, pressure.
Well, I can hear, as you said, it is an ecosystem. Mical, has there been any positive things coming out of this pandemic from your own perspective as a performer, artist, producer? Has there been anything positive come out of it?
Definitely. No, as a whole on creative, just having that downtime, create, just having time to just be you and get some more sleep. I think
Get some more
sleep. Yeah, some
more sleep.
we go in. I have that little slow down period to rest, be in the studio a little bit, create more. That was one of the most beautiful things that could have happened throughout the
A
whole.
little more freedom to focus on the creativity.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Nariba? What kind of positive things you saw coming out of this pandemic?
I will agree with Mical as well. I was very, very grateful for the downtime because from my Zéle Events hat, I dabble in a lot of other different things event-wise.
Okay.
So for those months, I got the most amount of sleep I got in years. I was happy to go home because it's just like I could finally relax. But also creatively, it has helped me to push the envelope a little bit more. It has helped me to do some soul searching to figure out what do I want, or what is the next step for Zéle, because now we have to look at our business structure. How are we going to survive within the next year or two, because the pandemic is not going away anytime soon. So it has forced us to get a little bit creative, to reevaluate our business module and structure, and offer our customers, our patrons, a different experience within all the COVID-19 guidelines. So it has done some good, I would say so. I would say so.
Okay, so we talked about the negatives, we talked about the positives. What about moving forward in terms of like transition? What has the transition been like for you guys? Mical, what has the transition been like for you having to adapt to what we call the new normal?
I think I'm still transitioning. I haven't transitioned 100% yet. But I think it's going good thus far. You know, I'm still missing that social, because at the end of the day we are human beings and we are social. So still in level of connection, that level of okay, I could see people, I could meet you, I'm here. So I think there's some level of getting used to, waking up in the morning to have a Zoom meeting. I think it's still sort of getting used to, but the transition is coming along. It's coming along, but I wouldn't say I have transitioned to new normal 100% quite yet.
Yeah. What about you, Nariba? What about the transition for you? How has it been? What's going on?
So from a business perspective, this week I have come to the realization of what is the next step for Zéle Events. It took me a while to figure that out, and it took me a while to accept it, because it's a case of adapting and adjusting. So it was difficult because we're so accustomed to doing what we do and doing the type of events that we do. So when I realized, like, I really have to make this leap of faith and go into something else, it was tough. Personally, I would say I went to a live event, a live concert last week, and it was the hardest thing to sit in my chair and be like, I'm hearing soca, I'm seeing the artist on stage, my body wants to react, but I can't. I want to react. It really is. It's difficult. It really is difficult. I don't know how long this transition process is going to take, but it's heartbreaking. I don't.
That's on a personal level. We all have to learn how to sit in our seats and not jump up to soca. Mical, how you feel about that? What's what's your thoughts on that?
I'll take the sit down and can't react than not getting it at all.
Oh, yes, I understand. I wanted to ask you guys as well, what do you guys think about the future of Carnival, given that we're still in this COVID-19 pandemic? Mical?
So I was actually having this conversation last night. I think what COVID has done is this is from an economic standpoint, right? I think the gap in Trinidad, wealth gap in Trinidad was always spreading. And I think what it is like a bit more. And with regards to Carnival, I think Carnival has always had this problem over the past years in terms of the average man being able to afford to participate in Carnival, and that some level of normalcy. Will the average man be able to even glimpse at Carnival? Because now, so many of the sectors of Carnival have been nothing dormant. So of course, prices may not be the same. It may be a little, and can't the average man afford that? think so. That's honestly how I'm seeing the future of Carnival is a little bit weird in terms of can the average man really participate in.
You're looking at it from the aspect of the patrons and like
Yeah,
one part of the full ecosystem. Nariba, what are your thoughts on this?
I think the way Carnival is going to be, if we have a Carnival next year and even 2023, it's not going to be like anything we experienced in the past. And I'll take it from a promotional standpoint. So I was speaking with someone yesterday, and they were explaining to me that even to promote a live concert now, they didn't expect that they would have to do so much work. And that there is a fear that is inside some of us about going out and interacting with other persons. There's also some hesitation because, as Mical said, he not taking the wine in my chair. He preferred to not experience it at all. And that has been the sentiment of a lot of persons that if you get full Carnival experience, then they prefer
Anything?
and I honestly thought that, when anything that we could get to latch on to from any kind of carnival related aspect, whether it be a fet or learn how to stick fight or whatever the case may be, persons would latch on because just want to hold on to something carnival related. I guess that was just me. But that's not the case. So promoters would have to do a lot more and get a lot more creative in terms of how we build events, how we promote events, how we present these events to the public, because now you have to tap into persons' psyche as to what they're comfortable with. And as Mical was talking about the whole economic standpoint of some persons not being able to afford Carnival, I saw brands looking at doing virtual events, and you have to talk purchasing equipment to experience these virtual events. And I'm like, why would you go that route? There's not going to be mass participation if I have to purchase item to experience this event. I still have to pay to experience this event because I have to purchase a ticket to log on to your software or website or whatever the case may be. So definitely is going to be um, level of the numbers are not like it used to be. The mass attendance of events, I don't see it happening within the next year or two.
Okay. Anything to add to that, Mical? Because I know you were looking at it from the angle of the layman. What about in terms of like the writers, producers, artists? What are your thoughts on that?
no, I think the layman, to be honest, once the layman could participate, the writers, the producers, the music will flourish. It's all,
So it
although
works hand in hand.
I'm probably gonna
Yeah.
sound like in here, but it starts with the people starts with the people.
Yeah.
Starts with the people. It sounds like Bungie Garland. I hear you.
No, but he's right, because when you're just like from a promoter standpoint, when you look at the amount of persons who actually participate in spending their money to come to events, is the who want to make sure they're in everything. The person who, the young professional, the youths who, this might be their first, second carnival, but they want to participate in the event. The person who's working a clothing store or a home store, or, like, those are the people who really participate and get involved in the carnival as much as possible. So if you phase out those persons by by having like that financial barrier, what are we really going to be having the carnival for?
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of what you guys are saying can go not just for the carnival season for itself, but also for the entire industry, I'm recognizing. What advice would you have for persons? Let's look at the events aspect. What advice, Nariba, would you give to persons who want to get involved in the events industry itself, especially now as you've expressed to us the difficulties and the challenges that persons are facing? What advice would you have for them?
At this stage, I would be very hesitant to give persons that not of go for it, in jumping into the event industry, unless you have a product that is new, that can get you that mass participation. I say go for it, but you would also have to do a lot of groundwork. Depending on social media, to get the is not going to be sufficient to get support that you would need at this stage. Because so the thing with social media now is that everybody's doing promote posts and ads.
Ads. Yeah.
So generally, social media is very crowded and cluttered. Everybody's trying to create content to get the attention of somebody or get the attention of the public. So I say from a promoter's standpoint, I wouldn't really advise anyone to jump in wholeheartedly to do events. What I will say though is find ways to create content to build a brand first. Build that, get persons to follow that brand, and then when things pick back up,
Run with
events galore. Yes.
Mical, what about you? What advice would you give to persons looking to get into performing, writing, and producing? Especially now.
I would tell them no 100 times.
You tell them no 100 times?
Yeah, and if they still adamant, then yeah, this is the place for you. Because I think within this industry, you hear a lot of no more than yes.
Okay.
Like you're here pushing. So that's what I would tell. I would tell them no 100 or 1,000 times, and if you in your body you're still feeling, I need to do this. This is what I want to do. Then yes, this is the place for you. Welcome.
I like that. So it's like a test of resilience.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So let's see what our chat questions are, because I mean, you guys have gotten a really good rhythm here. We've really touched a lot on what people are here to find out about, Carnival and the impacts of COVID-19. So let's see what our questions are that are coming in the live chat. I have one here. What are some of the innovative steps being taken to deal with the challenge of the COVID-19 setback? I know each of you would have a different perspective. Let's see what you have to say, Mical. What are some of the innovative steps that are being taken to deal with the current pandemic?
I don't quite understand that question. Hear what that, right? What aspect are we talking about? Financially, or are we talking about brands just being still seen?
Okay. So I don't have the context of this, but in terms of yourself, if we're looking at you as a performer, producer, an artiste, what are some of the innovative steps that persons in that aspect of the industry are doing to deal with this COVID-19 setback?
Right.
I know we touched on it a little bit before.
I guess that would have to, like Second Star doing his Second Star, the Lyrical having his show at the back. Then we also have Kes, which I doing it very brilliant. He's adding value to the art form, because most of the lives that were done were free of charge, meaning you just log on to and you get there's 8,000 people the Instagram live, but yeah, the artists are finished performing. There's no necessarily no level of income, so then no. They come do it at the capacity, but also I'm live streaming. There's value in what I'm doing. You will know have a fee to pay, and Kes now has some level of revenue and income that he could now, feed his family with, and I think that is setting the right precedent. Artists should be having their shows, and at least the public at least donate, or some level of income should come in from a virtual event. That's probably one of the most innovative things.
Yes, I definitely see that. I was able to catch a few of the performances last week, over the week, and I mean, I understand what you're saying about having the elements of live patrons coming in, as well as incorporating the virtual events, the virtual audience, and asking for contributions or even selling tickets in some cases. So I think that as we're now learning, people are trying to develop their own style of what will work for us. And I agree with you totally. It's about showing appreciation for the artists as well, the bands and all of that.
I one other point I would love to add to that too, right? I also
Yeah.
that this somewhat of a carnival-ish season, I think what would have been very, very important for not just the music but the culture in a whole, we could have definitely, and I think we missed that train, but I think we could have put value on culture, meaning really people want to participate, people want to see it. So now we could have took the time, packaged it correctly, and say, all right, you want to see Monday Night Mass, you want to see a documentary on Carnival, or you want to see whatever it is you want to see, come and see this. You have it online for 20 TT, $20 TT, just something. And I was just saying, let's use some of the Instagram lives, for example. You have 8,000 people watching this. 8,000 just by $20 or $10. Just do the maths. That's something. That's some level of value. Now put culture, put it on the art form, and those things set the precedent for what will then come. Because what that this COVID did was, previously if you're having an event, Nariba could probably back me up on this. Some promoters might view it as, you know what, now I could just probably do a couple DJs, and yeah, I should be good. But no, it came back to the artistry. It came back to now, but we need an artist to really perform and bring that vibe. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that you think that they've missed the boat in being able to showcase the additional aspects of the culture for Carnival.
Definitely
Right.
value on.
So I want to hear Nariba's take on that, because I saw her agreeing with what you're saying. I want to hear what additional she has to add to that.
So yes, I agree again with Mical, because this is a time I honestly believe that so much more could have been done. I honestly do think that promoters, and some of them might get vexed for saying this, but I don't think we did enough to entertain persons during this time. The soca artists did their part. What did we do? So what Zéle Events did during this week is we took the stance to educate persons on some of our traditions. So we did 3 days of persons learning how to stilt walk and fire breathe. That persons would be willing to learn how to stick fight. And the reason that we got the hesitation for persons so willing to learn how to stick fight is because there was a fear. And that's because persons did not understand the history that is associated with stick fighting and safety that is associated with stick fighting, believe it or not.
So how challenging was it to do this event? Is that the Carnival you're talking about?
Yes. So on our end, it wasn't challenging at all. It wasn't challenging at all. And I would say that because the persons who were the tutors for these sessions, we would have hired them when we were having events generally. So we already have the contacts. We know that they have a wealth of knowledge. And for the person who participated in the event, they were like, this is amazing. Can definitely continue this after Carnival. And we will, that we definitely realize from the feedback that it's something we need to continue. But the reason I say promoters did not do enough, because there's so much history that is associated with our Carnival culture. There are few other entities that are doing big productions and smaller productions. But I think from across the board, a lot of persons are like, I'm not doing any virtual event, I can't make money. Oh, it's a waste of time. And I get it. Events cost money. but what else can we do? That, for me, that should have been the question that they were asking themselves. If I can't do a virtual event, what else can I do? And I would say there are some brands like sponsors who I would say kudos to them. They really step. They put their money behind the carnival to keep the tradition alive. And I think they did tremendous work. And from the innovative standpoint, they use social media and the digital platforms to really keep the content going. And I think that was brilliant that they even took that step, because they too would have lost money from us not having carnival. So for them to even stand, put money back into the culture, that says a lot. Even NCC dropped the ball tremendously, because they are they're supposed to be the promoter for carnival. Again, what happened? So I think from an innovative standpoint, a lot of us dropped the ball. And I think we need to be, scolded for it, and we need to work on it, because artists did their part, some of the sponsors did their part. What did we do?
Well, taking information from what you've both just shared with me, and I can hear the passion and the hope that you can still continue to do this, and the appreciation indeed for all those who were able to try to give this season some semblance of normalcy, the new normal. Mical and Nariba, why? What is stopping us from offering these sorts of things outside of what we would call the carnival period? What is stopping us? If it is that we are seeing the benefits and the evolution, the innovation, what is stopping us, or the industry? I see Mical ready to answer me.
As I
I
said,
put him on the spot there.
that value, I think, value that I felt the culture was lacking. Pay to go party and jump up, but also that side, are we purchasing the music? Are we purchasing the films? Are we literally supporting that local? Are we paying to go and see that stick fighting? Are we really spending, putting that value on the culture? And I think that was
You bring it back to the layman. Are we putting the value that these performances demand, and would we willing to pay for this? Is that what you're saying? That sort of aspect we're looking at?
a simple thing like, right? From 15,000 to 5,000. And even the ticket sales were not as expensive as before, and yet was not there. So I think the value of what art form and the culture was dwindling, and I think, as I said, this would have been that time where people are home, people are doing nothing, where we could have really came and really put that value. So I think the emphasis going forward should be really creating some level of value with the culture. It's not just talking film, we're talking events, we're talking, and actually, you know what, I think events are safe. They'll always have that value in terms of, we want to party, we want to have a good time, right? But there's other aspects to try and emphasize on that value.
And on that note, do you guys think the copyright organization of Trinidad and Tobago, that's COSTAATT, should they change their policy, seeing that artists have the opportunity to earn royalties over the social media platforms? Or is it that it already has been incorporated? Can you advise me on that?
I don't want to sound like I'm bringing down the organization, but my faith in COSTAATT is not there. I've been a member since the age of like think 16. I think there's a lot of mismanagement that goes on within that organization. There is a new board now that I think they're trying to bring about change, but I'm yet to see it. So I think very frankly, my faith in that organization is not there. I don't even think they have the manpower and the technology and the resources to even monetize online. But being creative, who is a songwriter, producer in Trinidad, I will always advocate for them to be dual membership, as in you have COSTAATT represent you in Trinidad, but for the rest of the world, find that role, because they don't have that manpower and they are again mismanagement.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. All right, so let's see if we have any more questions that are coming in on the chat. And I think we've had a very, very rich conversation this morning. So while I'm waiting for that question, is there anything specifically that either of you wanted to bring across to our audience today, our stakeholders, regarding Carnival, COVID-19, and the COVID-19 pandemic? Anything specific that we didn't cover in our conversation?
The monarch is today.
Okay, so we have an unsponsored ad coming in here now. Nariba.
I just want to say congrats and all the best for today, Mical. But also, I think that from now we should be preparing for Carnival 2022 in whichever way, shape, or form it is going to be. So we should have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, because we don't want be caught off guard and not being prepared for a proper carnival production, whether it be a local carnival with just Trinbagonians, whether it be the borders and persons are coming back to Trinidad and Tobago. The preparation for now. We would have seen what a COVID carnival would have brought to us. So we have a clear understanding as to the limitations. I think from a government standpoint as well, the policies definitely need to be worked on. Definitely. There needs to be some work in terms of numbers, who can do what. Because, like, say for instance, if Zéle wants to have a concert and we want to have Mical, Ding Dong, Pretty, a whole bunch of artists. But for me, I'm a creative person when it comes to stage and setting up a stage. I don't want to be limited to Napa and Queensall. Sorry. I've done my event at Queensall for the last 2 years, but we have been able to have it outside. Currently, you can't have events outside. I have to, if I want to have that concert, I need to keep it indoors. But if I want to have it 2022, at least put policies in place where we can have outdoor events. We can have them 200-300 persons based on square footage and that kind of thing, and put policies in place that we have to adhere to. We already pay for police officers to come and look on at events. We already have the police in place. We have fire officers, we pay for those. So there is definitely room to have regular public events. If you say no cool effects, okay, no cool effects. But I think there definitely needs to be conversation from now as to what is going to happen for 2020. So that way, as Bungie said, that ecosystem could get back there, because I can tell you for sure, from the corn soup vendor outside a cool effect to the distribution company bringing in all the alcohol, they would have lost, everyone would have lost money this carnival. And the country by extension would have also lost money. So let's find a way to fix it for 2022.
We're hearing a lot of themes echoing with both of your aspects, both of your points of view. Mical, is there anything in terms of like what you've just spoken about, right? You spoke about the hybrid events and all of that, and you spoke about the followers on Instagram of all of that. What is your personal thoughts about, are people willing to pay for the virtual performances?
I think it's not a matter of if they're willing. I think so long as you yourself put value on what you're doing,
Value.
people will
I
pay.
like that. I like that you keep coming back to that. The value, recognizing the value, promoting the value. I
Yeah.
totally am on board with what you're saying, value. And I can appreciate that we feel that way about the industry itself.
Because you factor in that we are on, when you're online and virtual, you are no longer catering for 1.3 million people. You are catering for the world. You are catering
Nice.
for the world. Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that way of thinking. You're very, very right. We're looking at a global impact. And
This-
it can actually work towards doing what it is you all were saying just now about bringing the culture across to persons who would not understand your rich history and the cultural impact of it.
So we've been trying. I've always been hearing the topic of getting Trinidad Carnival to the world and getting our culture to the world and pushing it to the world. Within COVID, here was the ideal platform to really have our culture showcased around the world. I think if the government really had a little more, I don't know who advised them, I don't know, but just if they had a little more insight and a little more knowledge, technology. I always think Trinidad is a place where we ask the experience for vision, and we ask the people with vision for experience, meaning you'll have the older generation ask them for a vision, and the younger generation who has vision, you'll ask them for experience. It should be the side around.
Way around.
Had a little more advice. You could have literally packed Trinidad virtually, told it to.
Do you think it's too late? Do you think it's too late, guys? Can we still do this? Can this still turn around? Do you think it's too late? Because I'm asking, what is really restricting us to showcasing Carnival just around what we would see the Carnival time as? Do you think it's too late, or can it still be done? Is it something that can be done, like showcasing it throughout the year?
That's why I think I don't think it's ever too late. I think our focus is so heavily on oil, gas, that also when years, back that they want to diversify the economy, have yet to some level of to really. There's so much different things in Trinidad that could help boost our employment. I think tourism is one of those things that Trinidad has declared long. We've neglected tourism for so long. And then we also
I'm glad that we all agree that it's never too late, and that we have been able to sit this morning and have this rich discussion. I think we've tapped onto as much as we could regarding this particular topic for this morning in the allocated time. I'm here. Sorry, go ahead, Nariba.
Let me just add 2 points quickly. So add to what Mical has said, we also have to remember that Trinidad and Tobago is the mecca of Carnival. All the other islands and countries are looking to us to see what we are doing for when their Carnival time comes around. And I think I'm going to coin a new term here today to make sure that that Trinidad culture would have been seen across the world. We should have invested in something that is called digital tourism. And I think we lapsed on that big time. Big time. Because things go viral in a quick second. What is us from making sure that our content goes viral? Same way. People are looking to us. They want to know, what is Trinidad doing? How can we follow Trinidad's business module or Carnival module and do it 10 times better? I don't want, sorry to say, but I don't want Jamaica to come in April and be like, oh, so y'all think y'all could do virtuals? Good, we're gonna do it better. No, we should have been, trailblazing. Like, so, and just a quick point, it's like, a radio station does, wouldn't call their name, but a radio station does morning shows and afternoon shows, and they record it and they bring artists and that kind of thing. Nicely put together. And I like them with numbers. And I like to see how the stats and stuff develop as these shows go along. And when I'm watching, one live would have gotten 47,000 views in a day. I'm like, what is stopping everybody else from creating this type of content? And what I like to know is the insight as to where those views are coming from, because from that, you will be able to know, okay, how much of it is locally and how much of it is internationally. And that itself, government should be calling that radio station and asking them, hey, where are you getting views from? How we could partner with you to make sure that, we help you push this further and make it reach to the millions.
And there you have the ecosystem working together.
Correct.
Mical, you think she's preaching there?
Fully.
Oh, Lord. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems as though we're heading to the close of our session this morning. And Mical, I am being asked, prodded, coerced, encouraged, advised to request from you, sir, a little song, just a little verse. I'm telling you, this is coming from my instructors, not from me. So I know that, we're putting you on the spot here. Would you be able to give us a nice little verse, maybe, to take us to the end of our session this fantastic Friday? Yes, it is Fantastic Friday here in Trinidad and Tobago, Carnival 2021.
Well, because it's Fantastic Friday, I would give you a little teaser of what we did for Soca Monarch. I'll actually give you the song around a little bit. So yeah, I'll go now. Right?
All right. So we'll let you just loosen up a little bit and take us into it. I don't want to restrict you. I mean, you have a virtual audience, and I know you don't feel the same energy, but Nariba and I tried our best here to give you the inspiration. Yes.
So here's the verse that we literally did at your peak. At 110, farmers still competing, but I ain't go say not. Peace and love is what we spreading. So now I will talk the thing. Nation, how you feeling? The death of Andrea Barat. Tempting need to stop. You see, I want the men to do what is right. Let we try. Woman should be safe no matter the time. You see, I telling all here tonight. Nation, to make it happen again. We need to stand up and fight. Put the women first. Protect them. Yeah. So we definitely switched up the song to a whole different for the Fantastic Fridays. So guys, look out for the Monarch. Vote. Support. Thank you.
Thank you. You have your virtual audience and your live audience both appreciating you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to both Nariba and Mical for joining us this morning. This discussion was very, very, very vibrant, and I really appreciated all the information you shared with us. I know our stakeholders were very, very happy. It was truly a pleasure to have both of you. Thank you.
Us.
It was great. Thanks for having me.
I know. I'm just like, I feel like we're all friends here. Our chemistry was so good, and I know we could carry on this conversation for hours and hours. But you guys are in the peak of the season, and we want to make sure that we can partner with you for future projects. We want to thank the stakeholders for joining us this morning. We hope that you all can like and subscribe our channel. Stay tuned to much more vibrant sessions as we continue to help you guys enter your services in the new normal. And we hope that you guys are remembering to stay safe, wear your masks, and adhere to all current restrictions as we continue to slow the spread of COVID-19. Thank you very much, everyone. Please have a great day.